So what's up, Valerie? How are you?
I'm good. Thank you. Yourself?
I'm good. I'm good. Um, they were just saying there, yeah, dealing with the boredom of isolation and all that sort of stuff. Are you doing much training at home?
Yeah, actually, our training center, I would say, is down in the basement. So that's
Yeah,
where, yeah. So it's what, like three by eight or something, with mats and like all the equipment. So it's quite easy for us to train. So I mean, I'm not complaining about that.
yeah. Like you have your sister and your dad, and obviously out there to train with as well, so that helps.
Yeah. So it's basically normally when Salma is also here and like we're going for a competition, she stays like what I don't see her for maximum 4 days in a row, and then she comes over for every like weekend or Thursday to Sunday and train. There's always only us four, and then for like the club and stuff. But uh, yeah, that tiny room has gotten us to like all the European and World Championships, I guess. So I love it.
Yeah, like I said, I've seen pictures of it, and it's very narrow.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah,
It is.
cool.
Um, yeah, I mean, it's also sometimes for patterns is a bit annoying, obviously, because for example, Yuche, you have to like split it up and then have to like run to the other side and then like
Yeah,
continue. But now we also go to like some like Oslo, for example, and train with some friends there, and then we do all the patterns that are the ones that require the most space, I guess. Um, but it also helps sometimes for sparring to just like always not like run away and like actually be in there. Yeah.
what kind of shows that you don't need fancy gyms or any or too much. You don't need too much to maybe be successful at a high level.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I believe you just have to do the best you can with whatever you have, just about mindset, I guess. Do
Yeah.
you train with probably a bit more space than like at a club?
We have a nice gym as gyms go.
Yeah.
We have quite a very nice setup. So yeah, lucky like that. Um,
Yeah.
but like that, it just shows that it doesn't really matter what you have. It's what you make of it, really.
Yeah, definitely.
So then, like, how did you get started in taekwondo?
Well, I started when I was 4 because my dad opened a club. So we lived in a really small town, and then he opened a club, and I was really shy as a kid. So I told him that I wanted to join, and whenever he like faced away from me, I was doing like punches and like doing whatever I could with my tiny hands. But as soon as he looked at me, I would like stand completely still. But I would tell my mom when I got home that I'd trained and I'd done so much. So I like started joining him for every training just to like watch and do like small things. And then I guess my shyness had to go away and I started properly. Yeah.
You kind of just blended into the class in the end. You kind
Yeah.
of
Do you guys have like a requirement of how old you have to be to start Taekwondo in Ireland, or?
it kind of varies. Depends on club to club. Like
Right, okay.
some clubs take kids in at 3. We
Right.
used to be we're 6 now. We used to be 5, but we kind of changed around the classes a little bit, kind of just how many
Yeah.
classes we're running and stuff. So we brought the age back up to 6.
Yeah.
I think we
I'd
even
say
had it
six.
up at 7 at one time, but when we were
Mm,
very busy, we upped the age to 7. But
yeah.
not 6, which I think it's an okay age. Yeah,
I'd say so, yeah. Like 3 years old is quite difficult, I would say. Like even with 6 years old is difficult, but like it's cool if they want to start at 6 and it's just fun and they're cute. But yeah, 3 is quite low, I'd say.
yeah. There's like me and Asian talk about, like I used to talk about it a lot. It's like there's different types of 6-year-olds. There's the ones who are
Ah,
really
definitely.
you can really concentrate and stay focused, then you can really train, and then you have the other ones then who are just kind of there for a good time.
Impossible. Yeah. And there's also always one you can feel when that one person is not present because then everyone else focuses. But as soon as that one person is there, and they just like make all the other people also not focus and want to like joke around, and just like, oh man, this is so much harder to teach.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's always a couple of kids just waiting for somebody else to start off a little bit of messing so they can join in. They just don't want to
Yeah.
be.
The bad thing about like training kids though is that most times it's like if the friend quit, even though they're really good, they also quit because they're like, oh, but I wanted to do it with my friends, and like they quit. And as a teacher, you're like, oh no, I see so much potential. Like, don't go.
Yeah, it's a bit. But we've even had it a couple of times where it gets around the summertime and like I keep on holidays for 2 weeks, and then all of a sudden another kid thinks, oh, they have stopped training, and then so I'm not going to go train anymore. And then they
Yeah.
keep coming back from holidays, and then they're like, oh, my friend is gone, I'm going to stop training as well. When
Yeah.
we're like, no, we're just gone on holidays, we'll be back. Like, two people training.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
yeah, it is a challenge trying to keep people that when their friend stops, you kind of
It
hope that
is.
they maybe have other friends in the class, not just that one.
Yeah. And I'd say like Taekwondo in general gives you a lot, it teaches you a lot about like self-confidence as well. And a lot of young people, they are quite hard on themselves, or maybe they also feel it from their parents. And even though you see potential and you tell them like, no, you're doing really well, they just get like not that motivated if they're not getting like medals or like something bigger. And you just, as a teacher or coach, you have to like, no, but like see the good things. And it hurts because sometimes you see people go that are really good and that you could really see doing well, but they just don't believe in it themselves. And sometimes you can't do more than that.
Yeah, so like the challenge as well is when you're seeing maybe they're not winning medals and stuff as a color belt and when they're younger, but like that doesn't necessarily mean that they can't be a champion as a black belt or at a high level if they stick with it.
Yeah.
It's I think sometimes they get into thinking that like whether you win or you lose as a green belt, like it's not a big deal. Who cares?
Mm-mm.
You know, it's not.
Yeah.
So losing isn't a big deal, but also if you happen to be winning, it's not a big deal either. It's like so you just try and
Exactly. Yeah. It
just
just
try and
way like,
get the black belt.
mm-hmm.
Yeah,
And
and
it's just like the experience you gain. Mm-hmm.
yeah, exactly. So, and oftentimes, um, you see like some of the ones who weren't as successful as color belts tend to be the best champions.
Yeah, that's true. I also, yeah, I would say sometimes I've learned way more by losing, obviously, than winning. So you can't just focus on the medals
So
sometimes.
like when you finally started into the class, did you start competing straight away or?
Um, yeah, I did. Like my first international competition was when I was 5 or 6, and it was in Sweden. And I remember I did a pattern, and it was dosan, and you were going backwards, and you were going to do the 2 punches like fast motion. I did the other way around, like the other punch first, but I continued as normal because my dad had told me like if you make a mistake, like continue as normal. And after that, I ran out and I was like, Dad, did you see that? Did you see that? I continued as nothing, as if nothing had happened. I was so proud. I did not win anything, but I got a new friend that apparently was listening to the same music that I was listening to. So we bonded over that, and I was just super excited about being in the competition. And like, I felt like I was so good, but I kept it cool in the ring, although I lost. But I mean, it was one of the really fun memories I still have.
Yeah, so like you kind of maybe had a. Oftentimes, you're saying to kids like that. You're saying to kids, don't set the goal as maybe being winning a medal. Set it as something a bit different, maybe a bit more achievable. So there you go. There was a goal. Like if I make a mistake, I'm going to keep going. And if you didn't win a
Yeah,
medal, you achieved your goal there.
yeah. And I also remember everyone got like because we were so young, we got kind of a, what's it called? Just like a small gift
Destination
for
medal.
even competing. Yeah. So that for me was like the medal. That was the coolest thing. I was like, oh, this is like, it was like a Viking boat thing. I don't know. I thought it was really cool.
And would you have been more patterns or sparring when you first started?
I've always been into both, really, from the start. I don't know, I always really I fell in love with Taekwondo, not the competing part of it first. I just really enjoyed feeling more confident when I did like self-defense and like just getting stronger in any way, I guess. So I just always wanted to learn more, no matter if that was pattern or like sparring. So I've always done as much as I can, like most times as well at the European Championship and the World Championships. I've done like team patterns, team sparring, team special techniques. Basically everything, traditional sparring as well, except breaking. I did not want to break. I only do that for grading. So like, yeah, when I started fell in love with getting stronger as well and like learning more about myself through Taekwondo, I meant everything except breaking. Like, I get it, it's all good, but it's not really my strongest, I would say. Um, it's also just scary, like if you hurt yourself just before like doing patterns, for example, at the European Championship. Sometimes like it's not at the end, and I just don't want to mess that up.
Yeah, I don't. I always say it. I don't see the enjoyment of hitting hard things. That
Yeah.
doesn't seem like fun. I much prefer hitting other people. That's much
Yeah,
more enjoyable.
totally agree. Totally agree.
So then, like, did you do any other sports then when you were growing up as a kid, or was it just you got into taekwondo and that was just what you stuck with?
I actually was one of those that like wanted to do everything. So I did it. I trained football for like, I would say 8 years or something, 7, and then I riding horses, and then like handball, and like uh yeah, just anything that I wanted to try. And I'm also very into music. So like I play guitar since I was like 6. I went to like music classes, and then theater. So I was always really busy. Oh, and dance. Dance was like the one that I did since I was like very young until quite recently. But I had to, like, there comes a times where you just have to choose, because if you want to do something really well, you can't do everything at once. And sadly, dance had to go because of my injuries, and I just had to prioritize. But yeah, I tried to do as much as I could until my body was like, nope, not anymore.
And was it taekwondo first that you started? Taekwondo was the first kind of activity you would have started.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Did you feel that that kind of maybe gave you the confidence then to go and try other sports? So kind of, well, I'm not too bad at
Uh,
this one. Maybe I could be good at something else as well.
yeah, I've actually never thought about that. Maybe. I mean, I think if it weren't for Taekwondo, I wouldn't be as confident as a person as I am. Um, and I think that when I realized that by training several times a week, I could see such progress and see it so clearly. I was like, oh, but then other sports are easy as well. You just have to train, like put your mind into it, like have discipline. So, I mean, Taekwondo has made me realize though that yeah, things do require hard work, but it's possible. So yeah, I think maybe that mentality was there from little. Hmm.
Yeah, I didn't do any, like, taekwondo was the first kind of sport I took up. I didn't have much of an interest in sports up until
You
that point.
didn't?
I started taekwondo and then I was kind of like, I was, I suppose, as a white belt or a yellow belt, as good as they can be. I suppose like
Yeah.
wasn't bad, and I felt like I was pretty okay. So then I kind of like, well,
Hmm.
maybe if I try this other sport, maybe I could be good at that as well. And like that, yeah, I just played more, went to more, did more trainings, and eventually got a lot better.
Yeah.
Um, but like that, you said, you get to a point in where, do you want to be world champion in taekwondo,
Yeah.
or do you want to maybe not and do the other? Like, you can't really
That's a
do it.
struggle. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Especially like when it comes to friends as well, like social life. Like Taekwondo is very time consuming as well if you want to be a world champion.
yeah. You have to kind of, I suppose, try and find. You need friends who are maybe trying to achieve the same goal as you are.
Mm, yeah. I mean, that's also why it's very helpful having the small club, although we don't go there as often, like the old place where Salma is staying. She helps keep that club running. But I mean, their support, and also like having this really close relationship, like having my dad as a coach and my sister training, and Salma staying here. Like Salma really is part of the family. Like she is the second sister, and we're so close, both families as well. And like if I don't see her after 5 days, I'm like, where the hell are you at? Like I miss you. Like, so I mean that really helps, having people around you that do have the same goal and can understand where you're coming from. If you say, for example, no to going out sometimes, or like can like relate to the same struggles, I guess does really help.
And then, like, did you find dancing, I suppose especially, but do you find maybe the other sports as well helped you in taekwondo as you were growing up as well? That just being like
Yeah,
more confident, but also maybe being more athletic. Do you think there was some crossover to your taekwondo training?
definitely. I for dance, for my part, I did contemporary and hip hop. And when I did hip hop, I also got into like a close, um, kind of a thing you have to do in addition for to get like in a crew where you get like jobs, different places, I guess. But we had to train for 3 hours. I remember 3.5 hours every Monday, and like my legs would be shaking like when I got home. And but it really did help with like strength in my legs, and um just cardio in general. I felt it's really hard work. Dance really is tough. So I mean it was definitely a good training. And football, I would say maybe cardio, but I got very stiff and like very just, I don't know, I just felt heavier doing football combined with like taekwondo. It's not like a good mix. I feel some people would agree with me that it's done the same. But but yeah, I would say dance really helped. Just didn't help with my injuries. That just made it worse. But it helped with taekwondo in general. Yeah.
Yeah, we see a lot of people who play like that field sports. They end up constantly saying they're tight, the tight legs,
Yeah.
tight hip, hamstrings, all this sort of stuff.
Mhm.
So it's like, yeah, I don't think necessarily they're a good mix.
No, I would agree. Yeah. I
So
would.
when did you grade for black belt then?
When I was 13. Yeah, when I was 13. Hmm. So I think the rule was also you had to be 13 anyways. So I was like, as soon as I'm 13, I'm gonna be ready. um, yeah.
Yeah, the rule is 13 here as well. You have minimum of 13.
Yeah. What do you guys have to do? Like, do you have to send in like an essay? I know that some people do, some have like, I don't know, it just varies from country to country. What do you guys have to do for a
You
grading
have,
black belt?
you have the I don't know if you have a preliminary black belt test, which is
Okay.
basically like a mock black belt test. So you do all the sections. And actually, the one that we kind of run in our region, you do all the sections except for special technique and power.
Okay.
Um, Mostly the reason was we weren't doing that was because space, the hall to set up
All right.
or a machine to have people properly kick it wasn't. We didn't have enough space, and also we didn't have a breaker because again we didn't have the space to bring a breaker in.
Ah, okay, okay.
Maybe we could add them in because in our gym we do have some space that we could do that. But yeah, so you basically do a preliminary black belt test. If you pass that, you go do the real black belt test, and
Hmm.
that's it. Like, yeah, no, don't have it. I think though you used to be, I think, an essay in there before and maybe a written test, but I don't think that's not there anymore. It hasn't been there as long as
Lucky.
anyway. So yeah,
Oh man, we do. Oh, although I don't know, like NTN and ITF, they do have different, very different like grading stuff, and like they have more gradings in between belts. And so I can't speak for them, but I know that we had a essay we had to send in, and then obviously we get theory questions at the end of the grading. But we were so lucky that we had an surprise test, written test before the grading. So I was like, wait, what? And I wouldn't say theory is my strongest side when it comes to taekwondo. So um, I don't think our master was quite satisfied with my answers, but I mean, I did the best I could. um, yeah, but I wouldn't mind not having to send in an essay.
Yeah, we sometimes give like just to the people in the club some written theory tests just to kind of maybe check their knowledge there, like, as well, because
Yeah.
you can't train the theory for them; they have to go and learn it. So I suppose all you can do is
Mm-hmm.
check do they know it, and kind of, you know,
Mm-hmm.
let them see that they don't know it, but with a bit of a test, and
Yeah.
hope that that'll make them go and brush up on it. But
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah,
What I see a lot, sorry. Yeah, what I see a lot though is that some clubs, for example, if the person isn't that good with theory, it's often also because the coach doesn't really focus on teaching like what are you doing in a pattern. They just do it, but they don't know how it's applied, or they don't. So when you ask like a basic question and you don't even know, you're like, wow, like I cannot picture myself doing patterns and not visualizing myself what I'm doing every movement, but that's just me. So I just like, for me to be like strong and precise, I'm like visualizing also what I do and like for it to be effective. So I can't really imagine people like not knowing what is applied for and like doing it, because I would just feel weird. I'm like, what am I doing this for? Like, I don't know. Maybe that's just me.
yeah, the one I find often frustrating is when they don't know the name of something, because it's it's kind of
Yeah.
like, and then it's like, well, they say, oh, it's very hard to when you describe, like, if you're just, where you maybe it's or maybe, like you said, it's maybe it's a wedging block, and if you're to go, oh, where you have your hands and you cross them and they both face towards you, and then you push them,
Yeah.
your knuckles kind of go here, and it's kind of like this wide, and it's like,
Hmm.
yeah, we just gave that a name, we called it a wedging block, or
Yeah.
Etiomac.
True.
We gave it a name, and I always
Yeah.
just, if you kind of took it to another sport and went,
Mm.
okay, in tennis where we both stand at opposite sides and the have to hit it and it bounces in the box, and if the other person doesn't return it, I get it. So yeah, we gave that a name. It's a serve. It's that kind of
Yeah. I
everything in
mean,
sport is
I would definitely say, yeah, I would definitely say that being um, training like the kids in my club, that has definitely pushed me to learn more of those names, because I'm quite lazy with it. I'm going to be honest, because I don't really use it that much when I'm at home, because my dad just like is my dad. But then when I'm out there, I'm like, oh man, I really have to brush up on my theory. Like, so this block, I can't just explain it like you said. I have to like give it the name. So yeah.
yeah, like I think it's just much easier. Like, it's like, yeah, we'll just give it a name.
Definitely, yeah.
Everybody knows what we're talking. But I think there's just, because it's in Korean, that there's like,
Yeah.
I can't, sure. Why would I know that? Why would I learn that? It's in Korean. It's like,
Mhm.
it has a name, but okay, Adrian makes the point all the time. Is like, yeah, but if you did fencing, all the movements are in, all the words are in French. So it's like,
Yeah, true,
you
true.
don't need to know French, but like, you don't need to learn
Yeah.
French language, but you need to know the names of the movements.
But don't you guys also have like English words for them? I guess you have that, don't you? Like,
Yeah, we do. We have a mix, like,
yeah.
but I suppose you'd
Yeah.
nearly prefer if you could learn the Korean, it's probably better. But yeah, you don't.
Yeah, definitely. I wouldn't like, my dad wouldn't be that happy if I used the Norwegian word for it. It'd be like, you're teaching, like they should be learning something, use the Korean words. Definitely.
Uh, so like then when you went to black belt, did you go straight for the national team then?
Yeah. I was the youngest to get into in the team. Um so I remember I had to, because NTN had the like, I don't know, team, I can't really explain, like just politics, right? So I had to like try out during their summer camp or something. And I remember Miss Cross was there and Master Willie. And then had to do like a pattern competition. And I didn't get the pattern spot. And I was really upset. I don't know. Like as 13, you don't really know anything, but I had such high standards. I was like so upset. But I got the sparring spot. So yeah, I was the youngest one to get in the team, and then I went to Spain 2013 to compete at the Worlds. Yeah.
And yeah, because Yes, I give you quite a long time as a junior because you've been around quite a long time, but not
Yeah, I
even
have.
not senior, but not senior for too long. Um,
Yeah.
so how did that first? How did Benidorm go for you?
Um, I because I never been to European or World Championship. I didn't see it as anything. I wasn't nervous. I wasn't. It just didn't seem real to me that it was such a big deal. Which I mean, that's quite nice, not being nervous. So the first I went against Slovenia, and I felt like I did really well, and I was winning. And then I got a warning at the end for like going out of the square, and then it still said that I was winning. So I was like, okay, great. And then when he said like stop, like for us to like actually bow and stuff, it switched because of that warning. I was so sad. I was really, really sad. I was like, I had done so many things right that would practice at training. And my dad was like, no, but it's fine. I was like, no, it's not fine. I believe that she ended up getting like silver or something, and I was quite sad, especially because I felt like I had to prove something for um, the rest of the people in national team, like being the only one from ITF. And I felt like, oh, I didn't get the spot for patterns. I just went here to do like one round, and then I was done. But apart from that, I have just amazing memories for it being my first world.
And do you feel like that first tournament was kind of an experience that you kind of saw the level you had to get to? You saw the level of a lot of other people that kind of said, right, okay, I need to know. I know the type of training, I know the effort and the time I have to put in. I know what my level has to look like if I'm going to
Yeah.
be successful.
Uh, I mean, without sounding arrogant, I thought that at that time my level was like quite good. Like I knew that I was capable of get medaling, really. I just had to learn more, being a bit smarter in the ring, I guess, and not like because I knew I was winning, so I let her push me out of the ring because I thought that was smart because like, oh, not risking any punches like the last seconds. But obviously that was not smart, getting a warning.
Yeah.
So whereas now I would say juniors and senior, the level is not that different anymore. It used to be quite different between junior and senior, whereas now the juniors are just like standards are way higher. But at that time, I was like, that actually just gave me more motivation, just knowing that I was close. Like I did really well during that fight, and she medaled. So I was like, nah, I like definitely am going to train harder now. Like I know that I can do this. So that just pushed me a bit more, I guess.
Yeah. So then after that, then would have been Riccione 2014.
Yeah.
You medaled there, am I right?
Yeah. Medaled. I got gold in patterns. And then I got, I think, a bronze in team pattern or something. And I lost at the semifinal sparring. I remember it was against Shannon from the Netherlands, and I had seen her, and I was like, oh, her punches and like whatever. Um, and I was a bit afraid, I think. Oh no, no, I think it was against Poland. And then I was going into punches, and that was the first time I felt a real Polish punch mid in the face. And I was like, shit, this hits in way different. So, um, no, but it was a really good experience. I think that girl I lost to in that European Cup, I've gone against like 4 or 5 times from Poland. So
Uh, which girl is that?
I think it was Camilla. She's been like minus 68 before, minus 65 when I was
Yeah.
a junior. Yeah. But I mean, I've won ever since. So I got my revenge. And
Uh,
I remember in team sparring, I also, we went against Poland, and the coach looked at me. I was like, do you know her? And I was like, yes, I want to go in with her again because she had just won against me. So I was like, I'm ready. I'm in. um, yeah. So that was the first time. I think also after I won the gold in patterns, That was quite good for me again, like feeling that okay, I really did earn my spot here. But I called my mom because she didn't join us. And I told her and she was so happy, but I was just like so in shock. And then like 2 weeks later, I was like, fuck that. I won. And he was like, yeah, I know. And I was like, no, but I won. And he was like, yeah. So it didn't hit me before like a couple of weeks afterwards. Mhm.
Yeah, it's yeah. I've had that once or a couple of times. Yeah, that I've managed to win. Where kind of really everything kind of happens so quick. Like you've won, you're on the
Yeah.
board, you have your medal, and you're nearly back in the hotel. You're back in your room. It's kind of nearly
Mhm.
the next morning where you're kind of like, shit,
Yeah.
that
Exactly.
happened. Like, that happened. It's like, all right,
Hmm.
that
Yeah.
was kind of cool. That was kind of cool. It's kind of
Definitely. So no, I was very, very happy with that. Um, yeah.
so like you had quite a lot of success as a junior, um, as I kind of seem to remember and understand. Did
Yeah.
I don't know if this is crazy. Is it something that you have like 10 gold medals from European or World Championships? Am I completely crazy there?
So I have 7 and then like 6 silver and then like 14 bronze. Yeah.
Insane.
um
Insane.
yeah. I mean I it's also been the same effect I had during that first European championship I won that it didn't hit me before later. It's quite the same now. Like having all these injuries and like getting sick mononucleosis I got like 19 months ago, and it's really changed my life completely. And it's now that I get to sit back and I'm like, wow. I mean, I'm so humble and proud of myself for being able to like medal every time. Like even like medaling is quite tough. Like there's so many good people at the European and World Championships. So getting all those medals are just insane. I mean, I'm really, really happy about that. Although I am quite hard on myself too. So I'm like, okay, but this I want better, this I want better. But this time I've gotten some time to just sit back and just enjoy it and be like, yeah, well done, Valerie. Like, good on you.
Yeah, I suppose like that really shows then that you don't really pick up that many medals without being an all rounder. So I suppose that shows the benefits of doing many disciplines. That it gives you many
Yeah,
opportunities to win medals.
yeah, that's true. That's true. That also. So I mean, although obviously the individual ones are the ones I'm maybe proudest of. Um, One of the really good memories I feel when we won as a junior, the team sparring in Finland, is we just lost it in Scotland because one of the girls twisted her ankle in the middle of it, and we got to the final against Poland. We were doing so well, but we lost like so many points because she pulled out. And then I had twisted my ankle before, like 2 weeks before the European Championship. Like it was huge and it was blue, and I hadn't done any patterns or any sparring before that. And I was like, I'm not pulling out. And then it was against Poland, and we were all like, we're definitely winning this one. And it was just a really good experience, and just it was so fun winning that gold with the girls. Um, and I'd say another one I'm really proud of is winning traditional with Salma, this the world and the European one the same year. So the world in Ireland and European one, that was a quite good one too.
So would they be the two standout gold medals for you, or is there one individual
Um,
medal that maybe stands out more than the two of them?
no, I would say every individual medal stands out a bit higher. I would say just because I know how hard it's been, because I've been through so many like injuries and health conditions that um but I like, yeah, the gold ones are good, and the silver one at the worlds for sparring 2015, we went to like an extra round and I lost at just last seconds, but I was so happy with it, and I that one stands out for me, but I would still say that although I've gotten gold and silver as individuals at the European or world, I would say the the 2 bronzes I got last year are the most meaningful for me because of my health condition and the fact that I even went to the world. So European one was like, wow. And still being able to medal, that was just great.
Yeah. You've mentioned some of the injuries and some health conditions. Do you want to maybe to touch on some of that?
Yeah. So I would say the main one is shin splints, but to the point where it was really, really bad. I had some fractures because of how long it has been without taking care of it. And it was getting to a point where I would wake up 4 in the morning crying, like pain remissions. I would feel the pain as soon as I woke up. Just doing a sine wave of patterns, the training got me to tears, and I had like to do different like a couple of ice baths a day. So I'm still trying to work through it. Like it's way better now. I've gotten a lot of therapy for it, and I'm doing better. So that's good. I remember I cried the first time I trained without like pain, and I was just like, oh, this is amazing. Apart from that, it's been mainly also my hamstring. I pulled it, and I haven't done the proper rehab for it. So like during training, it just like made the sound like pulled, and yeah. So and apart from that, yeah, it's mononucleosis that has really slapped me in the face the last year and a bit. Yeah.
So I was kind of wanted to touch on the often the transition from junior to senior can be tough. But then,
Mhm.
like you had some, like you said, injuries and health things going on as well as transitioning to senior. So do you
Mhm.
feel that maybe kind of even made things a little bit harder?
Well, actually, I've always wanted to get into senior. Like, I've always been so excited for senior. I was never the one that wanted to be a junior for as long as possible or like scared of going to senior. I was like, no, I just love sparring, like seeing girls actually hit properly hard. I know that sounds weird, but we're talking to another Taekwondo person, right? So I'm not sounding crazy, but so I was just really excited for seniors, to be honest. But it, I mean, because the level is quite similar now, and I've been competing for so many years, I know most people. So it wasn't like a scary transition. And I also knew that with my injuries, I was still at that level. It just made it harder, maybe confidence wise, to feel good in the ring and not feel like, oh, if I do this, I'll twist my ankle. If I do this, my hamstring hurts. Like I've gone to competitions where I haven't been able to do any patterns before going, and I have to like do the things that made me cry at training, but in competition. And I'm just like, so that just messes with your head when you're wanting to be like in a focused mindset. But yeah, so I mean, it affected a tiny bit, yeah, during
Yeah.
the competition.
You said that the 2 bronzes maybe that you won last year mean a lot because of, like you said, dealing with injuries and some other health stuff. But do you think the fact that they were at senior as well kind of help means that, because winning at senior and being successful at senior is a bit, it does kind of, I feel, mean a bit more than junior.
Yeah,
Because
yeah,
like you have the best people all in senior.
yeah.
So do you think that maybe that's why maybe they feel a bit more special as well?
Mm, well, I also feel like most people that I did compete against are people that I've competed against being junior, and a lot of my friends. So I'm going to be honest and say I did not feel a difference. And but yeah, it was just the fact that, for example, for Germany, I was like, right. By the way, I don't even know if you know what mononucleosis is. So I'm like talking about it, but I don't even know if that makes sense to you. But anyways, so
I've heard of it, but I'm not totally sure what it is.
okay. Right. So it's basically like a muscle fatigue virus. So it can give you, like, some people can experience it for like 4 weeks and then it's gone. Some people can get like chronic fatigue afterwards and like affect their whole lives. And some people have like something in between. I guess that was me. But you can get like really swollen spleen and liver to the point where it can rupture and you can't really move. So that was basically me for a couple of weeks. And then like strep throat, fever, and just general fatigue. But I'm talking to a whole new level. So I knew that because I had that, I was like, right, I have to not let that affect my performance, feeling like that I'm doubting myself in the ring. So I really went in for like, right, how can I make my mentality be better for this competition? So I had like a month preparation with like a meditation thing that was completely just designed for like competition, and like how to change your mindset. And every time you felt nervous, just translate that as excitement and like just different things. So that was the first competition since like 2015 that I had not felt nervous at all in the ring, and I wasn't shaking. I was like completely in the zone. So I was just really, that medal meant a lot because I felt like there was so much progress as a competitor that I hadn't felt in a long time as well. So I was like, right, I I haven't been studying. I can't really do much during the day. This mono has changed my life completely, and I'm here and I got this bronze. I did better during my mindset and everything. So yeah, that bronze meant a lot because of that. I'd say more than just being a senior, but I mean that definitely does mean a lot too.
And what were you using for the meditation? Was it like an app? Was there somebody who
Yeah,
who you worked with? Was it something maybe like Headspace or?
Headspace actually. Yeah, they had a competition block or like a
Yeah.
program. Yeah, so that was mine. And that was my ritual every day. And during the day, doing the exercises that they advised. hmm I
Yeah.
love
Right.
Headspace.
Yeah, I have used it for a bit of time before.
hmm
Um, I find it hard then to keep the routine of using it. Um,
Yeah.
we've actually brought it in at some of the squad sessions. We finished some of our national team squad sessions with 10 minutes of meditation with using a little bit of
hmm
head. Um, I, could, I don't mind actually. I feel like I like meditation. I feel like you do you're reset after it, and I do feel like after like that, even after a hard day of squad sessions, that it can relax you. You feel a bit more. You don't feel
Yeah.
it more after because it can help reset. So yeah, I definitely
hmm
do. There is something to it. I don't think
Yeah.
maybe it's not for everybody, but I feel like
Yeah.
I enjoy it, and some people get something out of it.
Yeah. That's true. I mean, I would say um, it wasn't really me sitting down and meditating all the time was what I felt the most different about. Is more those exercises when you implemented them in your daily routine. Like, let's say, have a soft focus on something, but just be present and like feel like analyze everything around you whilst focusing on one thing, and like not thinking about anything and just like be there. That helped, for example, during that competition, because sometimes you're so in your head, you have so many thoughts. And if you haven't practiced focusing on one thing, then like days before, you won't be able to do it like well when you're there. You will just like try and focus, and then images will come up in your brain, and then like thoughts and whatever. So my goal was to like have done it so many times that if I needed to focus properly and get back in the zone, I could do it. And so I didn't really need to meditate that day. It was more like those exercises you learn through meditation that was like, okay, this felt really good. Yeah.
Yeah, 'cause at a competition at a Worlds, Europeans, when you're down ringside, there can be a lot going on. There's
It
stuff going on.
can. Definitely.
Like I remember, like especially in Germany, that I felt if you were back up in like the stands, it's like you were kind
hmm
of far back. It was like there's a competition going on over there, kind of down
Yeah.
over there. And then when you came down to go ringside to go and compete, it was kind of like you're looking up, and you're kind of like, oh, I'm in the competition now. And there's like there was like so much more going on. Like there's people everywhere. There's shouting. There's stuff. People are cheering for the match that's going on there that you're walking. It was chaos. Like so, like that to be able. It was a challenge to kind of focus in and concentrate on what you had to do. So like
because then it just hits you like, oh, it's my turn soon. Like, oh wow. Yeah. I feel the one part where I do struggle to focus on. I mean, I don't want my opponents to think that I'm weak or like, oh, okay, after I've heard Valerie say this, then like I can smash her in the ring. But going to be honest and say that team sparring is definitely still a struggle for me. Like I'm fine as soon as I get in the ring, but because I'm minus 68, I also know that I'll most probably get put with like taller people, bigger people. And oftentimes they also use me like if they need a lot of movement. So I know it's going to be tough. And then I feel so little and I'm next to the Polish girl that seem like so old and then so big. And I'm just like, oh man, why do I do this? And I always, every competition, I have this 10-second dialogue with myself, like, why the hell are you doing Taekwondo? Like, what is this? You're going to get beat. Like, why do you do this for it? And then I'm like super nervous. I'm like, don't pick me, don't pick me, don't pick me. And then like he picks me, the coach, and I'm in the ring. And I'm like, as soon as they say like, see Jack, yeah, I'm all good again. I'm like, okay, good. And I don't find it difficult at all. And then when I go out, it's fine again. But then for the next round, it's all over again. So yeah. So I don't know. It's something about team sparring that always gets me a bit.
Yeah, I think I've definitely had that a couple of times. Not so much now, but previously in the past where, yeah, I'm standing next, even an individual standing next to the ring going, why did I sign up for this? I'm here, I put myself here, like, why did I sign up for this?
Yeah.
Like, I could be doing anything else. And then like that, you kind of get in and you've done the bow and he says jump B and it's kind of like,
especially you guys.
Here we go, I guess. Like, you know.
Yeah. I feel like you guys, you have so big people. Like, as a guy, I would definitely struggle doing team sparring. I would be like, shit, these people are huge and like so big and strong.
Yeah, well, like with the team, given the fact I'm minus 57, and we've had the last couple of years, we've had a lot of bigger people, not like massive plus guys, but we've had guys like Adam and Richie, and we had guys who were in the heavier weights that could fill out the team. But now with the transition, I've managed to fill a spot on the team, which I actually do. I do enjoy fighting and being a part of the team. That can be the downside, is you have to fight the big guys, but that's what you have to do to get on the team. So,
but for people watching, those are one of the funnest like sparrings to watch, really, just to see like a big person. And then also like a lot of people, when was it, 2017, when Adolf and, was it Callum is his name? Yeah.
Oh, Colin, individual,
yeah, Colin, that was a good fight. Like seeing those kind of fights where you think like, oh, height difference, whatever, and then the little guy just running around and being so fast and then getting those points, it's just like, I love watching those sparring. Yeah,
but the great thing about it, one of the best things about that was because we had known that, because we knew Colum's style, and we always kind of said that Colum has the style to be Colin, that's the type of style you need, and Colum has the style, but he's not just like, he's very good with that style. So we knew, so we had kind of said in the team that we thought Colum could be Colin. So then for him to actually go, it was kind of like, we were right. Yeah, he did it.
That's so cool. And after that, I feel like a lot of people caught up on that as well. And we're like, right, okay, now we know the tactics, like, and they've tried doing similar things as well against them.
But like it's one thing, like it's one thing knowing the tactics, and then it's another thing trying to be as fast as Colum, because Colum with that blitz, it's probably he's the fastest in, I think, in Taekwondo, in ITF Taekwondo, in terms of definitely with blitz. He's one of the fastest people.
Yeah.
Like, so hard to get it. Like, even when you're training against him, you're like, he's going to blitz, and you see it coming. There's
Yeah,
like,
you know it, but
and you're
yeah.
hit. It's just knew he was coming, but I'm already hit. So
I remember also training with when was it? 2017, I think, or 18. We went to Ireland with Selma and Ingrid and my sister and my dad. And also training with Rustic. I was like, I know he's going to blitz. I can see it, but like, will I be able to move? I don't know. So I always had to just be moving, so it wouldn't be easy for him to blitz. Um, but I mean, Rustic is, or yeah, was, I don't know. He's not training anymore, but really fast as well.
yeah,
Uh,
Rusty. I've competed against Rusty a couple of times, and,
yeah.
and got caught with the same thing. Yeah, you know the blitz is coming. You're always waiting for the blitz, but yeah,
Mhm.
you has you hit before you can do anything about it.
Yeah, that's also something. For example, my sister, we have been able, or we have to tell her that you can't always just plan what you're going to do, because sometimes you also get in your head like, what do you want to do in the fight, right? But you sometimes forget also to analyze the other person and like see how they're standing, like what will come. So that's, for example, what we're training a lot with my sister right now. Like, okay, right, think, because she's like, but I don't know what to think during this fight. Like, yeah, but you have to like analyze some things as well. Um, yeah. Also, I think talking about fights that I enjoy watching, it's also quite annoying with like European championships and worlds where all your friends are sparring at the same time and you want to watch all of them and you just
Yeah,
have to pick and choose. And sometimes you also can't just stand and like get tired all day because you're competing soon as well. But I wish you could have like the European Championship and then like 1 week holiday with all your Taekwondo friends, because you only get to see them during those competitions, but you never get to like actually proper just hang out. That would be amazing.
yeah, like, yeah, definitely. I've started bringing in the thing, like if I'm competing, I don't really care about watching anybody else. No, it's hard. I want to, but it's kind of for me to perform best. I kind of feel like, no, I need to be just focus
Mm-hmm.
on. But yeah, like that. Even you have your teammates, and then you have like there's other matches that you just know are going to be good that you want to see, and
Yeah.
again, like me and it kind of happened in Bulgaria. Me and Richie were on it. They had the 57s and the plus 85s on in the morning just before lunch.
Mm-hmm.
So we had finished, and then we got to sit up in the stand, and then we got to see all the fights. Yeah, like the 63, 70, 78. We got to see them all
Yeah.
come on. And the way I don't know if you remember the way they kind of ran it, was like all four rings were kind of running one division.
Yeah.
So it was kind of like the 63s are on, and we were looking over here. But we got to sit up in the stand and just be like fans, just sit back and enjoy
Oh,
everybody
that's
else,
great.
just everybody else.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was fun. Like that's where it was kind of like, geez, if we could set that up every time, where let us start
Yeah.
in the morning, and then we'll sit back and we'll be fans for the afternoon.
That'd be great. Yeah. No, and also like last year, that was the first time, because of Mono, I was like, I won't be able to do sparring because that will definitely kill me. It was like tough just getting out of bed a day and like maybe doing like one thing a day. So I was like, okay, I'll do like patterns. So I got the spot for patterns, which meant that that was the first time during all my years of competition that I only did like one thing and not like teens and like a bunch of like traditional and stuff. So that was the first competition where I actually got to see a lot of my friends fight and like just be present. Also for Salma, like just help her more out. And so that was really good. So I got to see all of them. I was really happy with that first time.
Yeah,
I mean,
definitely. That just like that. It'd be nice to, like you said, yeah, nice. It's nice to even just, if you could just go and be like that, be a fan. Just go and watch.
yeah.
It's
No,
just
and
as
I
enjoyable early.
mhm. And I just think sometimes when my friends, when like if they're crying, I'm crying. Like I'm so happy for them. And after so many years of competing and also knowing the hard work when they win, it just means a lot. So I remember Katrina also, like an Enso, when she won, she was crying. I was just like, I was sitting there like with tears in my eyes. Like, I remember Michael lost, and I was just like holding his hand, like with tears in my eyes. And I knew that he wasn't crying, but I felt the pain. I was like, damn it, you were doing so well. Like, it was so stupid. You should have won. They didn't give you points. So it's just like, you get just so involved with people as well. And you also know how hard you have to work to get there. So when you win or you lose and you know they've trained hard, that's like, oh man, I know the feeling. Yeah.
uh, so then, what's your kind of training schedule like then, but on the lead up to Euros or Worlds?
So we have a lot of, in the beginning, we have a lot of um more like shorter sequences, I would say, but like um faster and more explosive things. So like get the speed up and like a lot of footwork, a lot of training with like elastics and like bands. Um and then the further in we get is more like condition as well. Like if you've had the explosivity and it's all good, then it's more like actually being able to do that for longer periods, right? So like a lot of just going for complete 3 minutes and like all that, I would say. Um, and it also just depends because we all have different injuries. So it's just like, what training do you need, like strengthening? Because we also have a lot of weight weight training. So if my hamstring is bad and I need it for kicking, I need to like actually do a lot of strengthening for my hamstrings to recover and all that. Um, so, but yeah, I would say it's more focused on footwork and like explosivity in the beginning, and then a bit more endurance later. Hmm.
And so would you do a lot of then weight training?
Yeah, a lot, always. So, and we focus more on that in the beginning as well, so we actually don't get more injuries later. So they're actually able to keep up with the hard training of Taekwondo. So it's in the beginning phase where it's like the tougher part with strength and like lesser train, not that many trainings of Taekwondo, but more of like strengthening and explosivity, and then it like kind of shifts a bit. And because of me and my shins, it's a lot of swimming as well for cardio. Um, yeah, yeah.
And so how many are in terms of like the weight training, is that, do you have somebody who kind of programs that for you, or do you do that yourself, or is it kind of you and your dad?
Well, we've had some help with there's a training center here, so we have like kind of sponsored with them, so they help us with like PT and stuff, and they have a program with us. Also, a friend of that in Colombia, he specializes with he has like, I can't remember, but it's also like a personal trainer. So he helps us a lot, and then we have like a schedule and like check in with them um, every couple of weeks. But we've worked with them for years now. Yeah. Um, mhm.
So how many training sessions in a week would you guess that you would do?
I mean, for example, for before Monos, when I was studying before uni, um, we had a goal of like maximum 3 days in a row with hard training, and then like a full day break. So we would train, for example, Monday twice a day, and then like I remember we trained like Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and sometimes like twice a day as well, and then like all Saturday off, and then like Sunday. So it'd always be like 3 days in a row, and then like a day break, and then like 2 days again. But it was always be like, most times it would be double training. So like in the morning and do like running or weights, and then like Taekwondo at evening. But yeah, we definitely needed those days with complete like break, because yeah, and I also rather have that than have like one session a day every day a week. I feel like just body and like mind just reset and like get complete break. And also we all have a life, so we also need like to get other stuff done.
And how do you find balancing school or college and with training?
Difficult as hell. I mean, um, I know that a lot of people also that do really well in Taekwondo choose to like study stuff for or like some people don't really care that much about school and then just go for like, yeah, I'm going to be a coach and whatever and Taekwondo, and that's really good and they do really well at Taekwondo. But because of my mentality where I'm quite hard on myself with everything, I'm like, if I'm going to do something, I'll do it well. So my standards for school was quite high as well. So it was very difficult because I wanted the top grades and then I didn't have as much time. I'd say it's difficult, but it made me learn all the like more efficient way of studying. So lots of people are also taking like hours to send in an essay. I would take like maximum one, and if they got like sent in like 3 pages and I sent in one, I still got a higher grade because of how I wrote and stuff. So it's difficult, especially during European Championship and Worlds when most of the exams are there and I'm like sitting there like doing math, waiting, and that's really not what you want to do when you're competing. You just want to focus on Taekwondo, but you're stuck there with school.
And what are you doing in what course? What are you studying in university?
Right now I'm studying something that's called, I don't really know how to translate that, but I mean, it's kind of bioscience. So it's biology and like biochemistry and math, but also with programming, so like computer stuff. Um, yeah.
And is the plan to do something with that after university, or is that kind of on the back burner and go to taekwondo?
um, no, like I want to finish it eventually, but right now I really want, like my head is at going towards music, so I'm applying for music. Um, and that's really what I want to do. That's always really what I've wanted to do, but I have also always really enjoyed school, so that's why I didn't know if I wanted to study medicine or like this biology thing. So I started with this biology thing, and I want to come back to it eventually and like get that diploma and do something with it because I do want to do something useful with it, and I know that we will need that later in the future. Um, but yeah, right now I want to do music.
Nice. Just before I finish it, you mentioned, and you kind of said it when you mentioned it the other day as well, like there's a difference between like the ITF and NTN. What's kind of this kind of setup there in Norway? Is it kind of
Uh, what do you mean, like?
like I didn't know there was a difference. I didn't
Oh
know.
yeah, it is. I mean, the difference. Well, we obviously have different masters, and we have um, just differences in like patterns, I would say, because they were out a while. They weren't doing like the ITF for a while. They went to like GTF or something, and then like went into what is now called NTN. Um, but no, I don't think like there's difference in Taekwondo itself. It's more like the rules. I think they don't get to compete until like they're a certain age, like internationally or something. Whereas it's open for everyone from young age. We think that the younger,
Yeah.
like you
So I was
should
just
get that
looking
experience.
in Ireland we have like there is two, so there's the ITA and the IMTA. So there's
Yeah,
and I presume it's something similar.
yeah,
The,
just like the rules
and
and
the
like
IM,
for
the
grading.
IMTA would have had like they have their own they do their own gradings and have their own rules.
Hmm.
The IMTA do their gradings, and the IMTA
Hmm.
would have been in charge of the national team before, since the ITA has taken over because they're now the national association. And so I presume it's just
Right, that's what's also changed now. Yeah,
yeah,
here.
it's just the same, I presume. But like I didn't know there was two associations in Norway. I presumed it was all just
Oh,
one.
really?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
didn't.
Yeah, I think, yeah, now it recently changed to NTN being in charge of the national team, like a couple of years ago, I think. Yeah. Hmm.
Yeah. Um,
But can I ask you something? Have
yeah, yeah.
you, yeah, during competition, have you ever felt scared, or like what is a memorable memory, like something that is like so memorable that you think back to now? It's like, oh, I learned so much from that experience, or from the
Um,
competition.
in terms of like a bad memory.
Well, could be, but if you want it to be a good memory too, I mean.
Um, the the World Championships in 2015 was kind of was a big one for me. In terms of, there was a couple of things that kind of happened.
Mhm.
I was sitting down, the day I was meant to spar. I was sparring in the afternoon. Me and the guys, we were sitting down watching the minus 63s. They were kind
Mhm.
of rings, and we were kind of there because we wanted to see Julio, and there was some other good matches going on as well. And
Yeah.
I kind of had that thing as well where I was kind of looking at the clock, and there was kind of nerves building as well. It's like, oh, I'm on in a couple of hours, and I was counting down the time, and there was nerves
Mhm.
building there anyway. And then so we're watching the matches, and I kind of thought, Jesus, everybody's looking really sharp. And
Yeah.
I started then the nerves, and I was kind of, am I that sharp? And then
Yeah.
I started seeing then that like Julio, who we were kind of there to see, like what, like one of the top guys in ITF, and obviously at that
Mhm.
one he got knocked out and
Yeah.
with a great shot. And then I was kind
Mhm.
of, I was like, Jesus, like someone like Julio was knocked out, like fucking hell,
Like, where am I gonna end?
like yeah, it's like Jesus. Then that kind of started putting more doubt, like Jesus, like am I ready to go on here? It's like, and then I had a tough
Yeah.
match. I was going against Rismar Norbert. I don't know if you remember him. He hasn't been around in a while, but
No. Mhm.
yeah, from Hungary, Rismar Norbert. So a tough match. He
Oh,
went on.
Norbert. Yes.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Such a
So
lovely guy. So
yeah.
sweet.
So,
So
but
good.
I was going to fight him in the first round and like that. So then I was having these doubts, and I knew I had a tough match. And then I was started, is he better than me? And is he sharper? Is he more prepared? And then,
Yeah.
so then it all built up, and I didn't perform on the day. And then it was really
Mm.
then I kind of looked at that, what happened. That was like when I looked at there and I went back to tournaments I'd done well in before. That's when I kind of really realized it's like, no, I need to be more selfish on the days that I'm competing, and just focus,
Yeah.
but don't bother watching anybody else. Just focus on like that. Just
Mhm.
focus on me, and when I'm finished, I can take over and I can watch everybody else. But that I think that kind of that week, that the tournament, like as a whole, wasn't great for me. I went out first round. We went out first round in team. I went out first round in
Yeah.
patents. I went out first round in sparring. So it
Yeah.
wasn't a successful one, but it was a big, but it was a big point, I think, like that in helping me to push on and
Yeah.
improve and adjust. So that would be a standout moment for me, like that, yeah, that I look back on.
Great. I think a lot of people would agree on that too. Like, and the fact that some people sometimes lose, but because they have so much respect for their opponent because they know what their results are in the past, and instead of focusing on what they can do, they focus on what the opponent is capable of doing. Then they don't perform as well as they could have. Um, so that's also why I know some people do not like to look at the draws. I love that, but if you let that affect you, then definitely don't look and just like go in for it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that used to be something. That used to be something that I used to like care about a lot more. Like you're opening it up on your phone and you're clicking, and then it's like
Yeah.
it's going. Who have I got? And you're scrolling down and you see, oh, you're looking for your name, and then it can either be like an oh yes or oh shit. But like
Hmm.
now since about, funny enough, like the first time I really kind of had it where I looked at it and had this out was the Worlds in 2017, which
Hmm.
like ended up winning. And so then it was like, I suppose maybe this is the attitude I've carried since, is like
Yeah.
I just happened, I looked at the draw and I just kind of went, I don't give a shit. I just kind of looked at
Yeah.
it, that's grand. And it didn't matter
Yeah.
who.
No, and it should be like,
And
yeah, it shouldn't affect you.
but I do think some people like that, the nerves that bit, like as soon as they read the draw, and the draw could be out the week before the tournament, and then they're
Mhm.
starting to build it up in their head a week before you even step on the floor. You're just burning nervous
Yeah.
energy of things that you can't change. Like the draw is the
Hmm.
draw. It's like,
I mean, for sparring, I totally agree. Like, I would say the only thing you have to have trained is be capable of fighting well against different types of styles of sparring, and then you're prepared. For patterns, I do like to look at it because I know most of the people. So I started to tell my dad, like, right, so what do I really have to focus on to like make sure I win this? So for example, sine wave, or like you have to be stronger here. This person is really good kicks, like so your kicks, like whatever. But if I were to do that just before I went in and just saw the person, I would be stressing out. I would just be like, da. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like because I've already had that tactics for so long that just like know what I'm getting into, so no surprises will appear then later that will stress me out. I'm just like, okay, now I'm in the zone. I know what I'm coming here for. Yeah.
Yeah, I kind of got to the point with patterns myself where I was kind of feeling like I wasn't even checking the draw because for me, it's kind
Mhm.
of, I feel like, well, my performance will be my performance and who's on the other
Mhm.
side doesn't make a difference. That's for me. Like I said, you have
Yeah.
you have a different approach then. So maybe there's
Yeah.
people listening might be more towards what you like to do. That might be
Yeah.
more towards where I was at towards the end, where it's just that, well, the draw is what it is. I was nearly not
Yeah.
even like I was forgetting to check it. I was having to go, oh yeah, I'm doing patterns as well. Let's see who I'm against. And like
Really? Oh
it's
wow.
it's
Wait,
kind of
do you get more nervous for patterns or sparring?
um different types of nerves. I think like patterns is kind of not looking like an idiot. Like, you know, it's kind of
Yeah.
not forgetting it and not looking like a tit. And sparring is much more like, I suppose, afraid, like nervous of knowing I'm good enough to. It's nearly more nervous
Yeah.
about losing more so than anything else. But patterns, not. It's more so about
Okay.
not messing it up. Would you be
Yeah.
any
Okay.
nerves? The nerves the same for you, or would it be? Or,
Uh, I would say, uh, I don't know. I used to be more nervous for sparring. I would always say like the patterns, like you won't get hurt. Like it's just you. You don't have to, like nothing will affect you because it's just you. And then in sparring, you can get so like kicked and just killed basically. That was my voice in my head. But now it's the other way around because I'm like, whoa, patterns, it's just you. So if you like your balance is off for a tiny bit and you've done it perfectly all like 10 times before the competition, and then it can happen once during the competition, and that can be like make it or break it like at a final. Also I remember the final against Kira. Oh, I hated that final in patterns. I never ever in like whole life have ever yelled out the wrong name for the patterns. And Kira, she took 3 steps during Chungmu before the kick. So I was like, she'll get 0 points. I will win because I was already winning the first pattern. So I was like, great. And then I lost focus at the end and yelled the pattern we'd done before that. And I was like, fuck, fuck, fuck. And then she won 3-2. And I was like, no. So, I mean, those are the things that make me nervous. Like, what if I've done the pattern well and perfectly? And then I yelled the wrong name, or like small things like that. Whereas sparring, you always know where you're at. And like, you know, okay, I'm winning, I'm losing. And you can do something about it, I guess. Yeah.
yeah, I've oftentimes with patterns been you're nearly thinking like, I find it, you know, you're not nearly thinking of the movement. It kind of just, it nearly just happens like so nearly some
Yeah.
bit. You're not think, but sometimes I'm thinking like it's because there's a million different things going through your head. You're thinking, don't fuck it up, don't forget it.
Yeah.
But then I often find I get to a certain point in the pattern like, I'm not going to forget it from here now. This section, I
Yeah.
get. I'm on the home stretch now, and you just finish it off. It's kind of like, that's what kind of
Yeah.
happens to me. It's like, it's like, I've got to this point. I'm good from here now.
Yeah.
I'm
I
good.
mean, I'm either at the place where I just do it automatically and I know that I can't start thinking about it, because if I start thinking about it, I'll be like, wait, what is next? But if I don't think about it, I know that my body will remember. So it's either that or I'm really focused on the next movement because I've practiced so many times, like what I have to be focused on, like what do I have to correct in the next movement. So then I'm like really in the zone. But yeah, there's like no in between.
Yeah, it's like the there's a million different things running through your head in the
Hmm.
30 to 60 seconds that you're performing a pattern. Is like the amount of different conversations you've had with yourself in that short
Yeah.
space of time. It's
And
is
I mean, like, you
crazy.
also get scared of like past things and like start thinking about, oh, the last competition this happened, like will this happen now? um just like a random thing, I remember when I was 11 or something, we went to Dutch Open, or where there was like the old hall, and I was my belt was like, well, I had blue belt, and sparring with just one other person, and that she was 14, she had black belt, and she was, to say it like in a different way, she was definitely a lot of categories higher than me, in weight class. So I was very scared, and she kicked me several times, like on top, like to people like around watching, and I was like almost crying in the ring. It was so bad, and she did not slow down at all. I remember my dad, I think, had to throw in the towel, And then I went to Ireland, one of your competition. And then my category, it was still the same year, and my category only had one girl. And my dad was like, no, we didn't come all this way for just one round. And I was like, what are you gonna do? And he's like, I'm gonna ask you to be like if you can be in the category up to 14 years old. And I was like, wait, what? No, do you remember what happened like a couple months ago? I'm not doing that. And he was like, yeah, it's fine. Like whoever wins between you two will get into the other category. I was like, oh my God. So I won against a girl, but she was very scared. And so like the characters switched. So I took care of her, like wasn't like hard, like just got my points and whatever. And then I was like, okay, I'm going in against the 14-year-olds. And it was a big girl. And that completely, I was like, no, this will be the same thing. And then she took her tongue out and made like this face when I went in the ring. And I just looked back at my dad. I was like, no, I did not want to do this. But I ended up winning the category. So it was good. But I mean, I remember that like traumatized me as a kid. I was just so scared.
It was all worth it. Playing mind games at that young age.
Oh, no. I was just not mentally as strong to handle that, I guess. So now I'm always like, after the final with Kira, I'm like, Valerie, don't you fucking dare say the wrong name because I will kick you. Like, yell out the correct name.
Yeah. I had a foot like that with the patterns. Like you said, playing your mind from one before was in Slovakia in 2011. Actually, I was doing individual patterns, and I messed up. I messed up pawn in individual, and we had team patterns in the afternoon. And I was kind of standing, and then I was like, "Oh, I can't fuck up again!" Like because I let in the team. No, this time it's not just me that's going to be. It's not just me that's going to be let down here. And we went out, and it went well. We did Gaybeck, and I'm saying, right, through that one, right, I didn't mess up that one. So I'm standing next to the ring. We're about to, because that's before you'd have a bit more of a fancy walk on. We were marching on. I was standing by the ring waiting for Eddie to call out the command to go, and it was Dangun was the designated pattern. And I was kind of thinking, I was like, geez, what if I mess up? And I kind of just went, okay, it's fucking Dangun. How can you mess up that? I just kind of
Please
went.
tell me you did not mess up.
No, I didn't. Thankfully, it was just. But like the afternoon, it kind of had me traumatized that like there was a split second where I thought I was going to mess up Dangun, but I needed to reset myself and kind of.
That's the thing. It can affect you like definitely other performances, but you just have to like forget about it and then like reset. But especially team patterns, you're definitely so scared to like mess up because you'll affect the whole team.
Yeah, I have been that person as well, but so
yeah.
But it's only happened one time. It's only happened the one time, and it's been. I think it's been other people since, but yeah. It definitely sucks when you're the person who messed up. And the thing is, because even if you would have like, especially on that one, the guys always remind me, but like I'm always like, we would have lost anyway, and they kind of go, well, we don't know. It's like, so that's the thing. It's like you could say you would have lost. Who knows? Maybe you would have lost anyway, but maybe you wouldn't have. So that's kind of the challenge.
Yeah, and they all have to be nice, and obviously you are nice because like, no, it's fine. Like obviously it'll happen. But if you're the person that messed up, you feel so shitty. You're just like, oh, I let the whole team down. I'm so sorry. We've done this so many times. I couldn't remember for one time. Like, yeah.
So kind of just before we finish up, one more question. If you had to pick a favorite fighter, who would you say your favorite fighter is?
Oh, favorite fighter.
I don't know. They don't necessarily maybe even have to be in Taekwondo. It could be in a different sport if you have an interest in, I suppose, other combat sports. But if not, we'll take a Taekwondo fighter.
Man. I really like Emmanuel from New York. So I think he is very smart in the ring. I love his bandes, how he can get them like so close, close to the person and like still hit his face. I don't know, I just like his style. He's chilled, but he's smart and like fast. I would say Danilo is just so sharp with things. And give me a second. I know I have one more. I'll probably regret it then later and be like, no, I could have said this person. No, I'd probably say that. Yeah.
Yeah, two good picks. Two good picks. Danilo, yeah, definitely is exciting to watch it. Himself and
Yeah.
Alameen have great fights.
Yeah.
Their final at the European Championships is one of the best finals
Mm-hmm.
one of the best finals I've ever seen. On that
Yeah,
stage
that's good.
for like that, it was definitely a match worthy of having in the gala.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. But yeah, that's the thing. Sometimes I just don't put them in the center ring or like gala. But I would like if they put more fights in the gala or center ring. But yeah, Emmanuel, I really like. But he hasn't been competing since what, a couple of years now. But yeah, good fighter, good fighter.
Yeah, so I think we'll wrap it up there.
Yeah,
Thanks for coming on. I've really enjoyed the chat. It was good to have
thanks
you on.
for having me. That was great.
No
It's really
worries.
excited.
And hopefully like we'll be back training and competing properly soon enough.
Yeah, definitely. Hopefully, yeah.
Yeah, so like I said, keep safe and all the best.
Thank you. You too.
Bye. Bye.
Bye.